Narc alert, red flag number 4. Continuing this series of red flags that you may not know about, or you do but have not paid heed to, we touch on a further red flag, which is the idea of premature cohabitation. That's premature cohabitation, and not something else that the dirty-minded of you might be thinking. We are in a rush to bind you to us, and as a consequence, we can then avail ourselves of your delicious fuel on a regular and repeated basis. One of the key ways of achieving this, along with a host of other benefits which I come to in due course, is to live with you. We may move in with you, or move you in with us, or suggest getting a new place together. But it is usually the case that when we suggest living together unfeasibly early on in the relationship, it is on the basis of us moving in with you. We do this because, 1, our lack of accountability. You are responsible for the mortgage or the rent, the utility bills and such like. At first, we may well make a generous contribution to these in order to win your trust, but once we have our feet quite literally under the table and turn to the devaluation, you can forget about getting any financial support from us. Furthermore, the bills and liabilities, etc. will be in your name, and accordingly, we can then walk away from them at a later stage and leave you financially hamstrung. 2, it enables us to keep our own property as a bolt hole, which we will retreat to when administering silent treatments later on in the relationship, and a place from which we will entertain new prospects and other sources of fuel. We will provide you with repeated reasons why we will not sell or give up this property, even though we are meant to live with you. And therefore, where there is an instance that you are living with the narcissist, but they are maintaining another property for some reason, you should regard that as a separate red flag. Number 3, by living in your house, we can learn even more about you, look through your possessions when you're out, learn who visits you, and accordingly exert a greater degree of control over you. Number 4, if your property is better than ours and is better appointed, we will gain kudos to our status by living there. This is the acquisition of a residual benefit and character trait. Number 5, it provides us with an initial opportunity to assist with menial chores to gain trust and fuel from you, but this will not last for long, since we ultimately regard ourselves as above such tasks as a consequence of our lack of accountability and sense of entitlement. Accordingly, we will, more often than not, want to move into your house at an alarmingly early stage. This will be done even in instances where we live in the same city as you and we could just easily shuttle between the two houses in the very early stages of courting you. Where you have an instance of an individual who has arrived very soon on the scene and has suggested moving in with you and then moves in with you, this is a red flag. This is not the instance of somebody that engages in staying round for longer periods of time, but recognises that you have not moved in together. That is separate. There is a boundary recognition. The narcissist in that instance, the individual recognises that it is your house, they are there as a guest, and they will behave as such. They will offer to help out. They will offer financial contributions, even though you will most likely turn them down. And they will not behave as if they live there, but rather that they are spending time with you at your house. They will still recognise that it is your property. Where it is a red flag is where the individual moves in, moves all their stuff in, spends all of their time there, talks about it as being their house, and talks about the fact that you live together. And this is done almost from the get-go. It is not a situation whereby this person has got to know you for over a period of time, but it is done within moments of getting together. Accordingly, more often than not, the narcissists want to move into your house at a very early stage. Why does the narcissist suggest cohabiting within a few weeks of embarking on a relationship with you? 1, to make you feel loved and therefore tap into your love devotee trait and make you feel special, so you're bound tighter to us. 2, to ensure that our primary source of fuel is with us as often as possible, so that we can avail ourselves of this fuel. 3, to reinforce our need to control you. 4, to reap financial benefits. 5, to have someone cook, clean and launder and look after us, which is especially attractive to the victim character of narcissist. To show commitment to you in front of other people for the maintenance of the facade, but also to show commitment to you in order for you to reciprocate by showing commitment to us, and therefore telegraph to us the extent to which you are under control. 7, to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Since we want to move in together, we must really love you, mustn't we? Thus you will feel that we are the one, that special person, and you will want us all the more. You will also feel bad if you resist, particularly when this suggestion is made in tandem with all other seductive manipulations. Therefore, you are unlikely to resist this situation. Number 8, we will play on your insecurity about losing someone so wonderful as us, and use the necessity of living together as a method by which you can diminish or remove yourself of this insecurity. In a normal relationship, which evolves at a natural pace, the issue of living together may not even be mentioned until 6 to 12 months into the relationship, and take a similar amount of time before it happens. This allows for both parties to learn more about one another. Yes, they will spend time over at one another's houses, and sometimes extended periods of time, but there remains a healthy recognition of boundaries. In a healthy relationship, this enables them to see how one another behaves and how they react in various situations prior to making a much more formal commitment, and allows, in essence, a period of due diligence of one another. Narcissists cannot wait that long, because this is too long without the level of fuel that we need from the person that we have now crowned as the primary source, and also because we will not be able to maintain the golden period for long enough. Accordingly, where a couple in a relationship take their time learning about one another and move towards cohabitation in an embryonic fashion, staying over with one another more and more, a few items of clothing and toiletries being left and so forth, then in such an instance, that is a more progressive and healthy way of the two worlds generally, slowly, and eventually coming together. Narcissists rush into living together. We do so on the pretext of our relationship being so wonderful, and because your emotional thinking will cloud you to this red flag, you invariably fall for this alongside all the other pretenses and promises that go with it. An early play for you and I to live together, and especially at your house, is a red flag that you are dealing with a narcissist. It won't be long before you realise that this narcissist will not pay their share of the rent. We'll talk about it actually being your house, even though you are meant to be living together. That they never offer to pay for the shopping. They never just go and buy the shopping and pay for it. They will not pay a fair share towards the bills. They expect you to buy the new furniture and not contribute. And therefore, what is actually happening is the narcissist claims that you're living together, but you're shouldering all of the costs attendant with it, and the narcissist is just reaping the benefit. This, of course, accords with that individual's sense of entitlement, lack of accountability, poor boundary recognition. Watch out for this, for it is another red flag that you are dealing with a narcissist.